The Nintendo Switch tax. Just sounds dirty, doesn't it? So the first time I remember this popping up was with Rime, and more recently I've heard Rockstar, a big-time game publisher, will also be implementing the Switch tax for their upcoming game LA Noire. So what is the Switch tax? First of all, well, simply a trend among games releasing on the Switch at an increased cost as compared to how they release on other platforms. In the case of LA Noire, for instance, the game will be about $10 more, I believe, on the Switch in comparison with the PS4 and Xbox One. So is this just a plot by third-party devs to stick it to and screw over Switch owners? Is it time to boycott? Well, I think it's a little bit more complex than that. The way I see it, there will certainly be increased costs for games to be developed on the Switch. These devs are going to have to figure out how to get their game running on Nintendo's little handheld, both in-docked as well as portable mode. Typically, games run different between the modes, whether it be, adjusting the resolution, frame rate, etc. So there's that. And then, as we discussed in my last video, these damn cards for the physical versions. I knew we were going to have some problems with these, and sure enough, they're not cheap. Especially for indie companies, I could see some real issues with trying to get a physical Switch version for your game out there. Which I appreciate, and that's why, I've gone out of my way to support these releases, ones like Binding of Isaac, because I appreciate what goes into making one of these physical releases, especially when they throw in extra goodies. In a way, I understand the increased cost. Not to mention that the Switch is a new platform. Not only a new platform, but a whole new type of platform entirely, really. So it makes sense that a lot of devs may be a bit nervous on how their games will perform, which is why I think we've been seeing a lot of what I've been calling testing the waters with ports of older titles, smaller titles, etc. Feels like these companies want to see what the demand is like for their games on the Switch before they put more focus on it or even develop games made specifically for it. This is all fine. If you haven't guessed, I'm not really that opposed to the Switch tax because I understand why it's there. I can break it down and see, okay, yeah, there's probably some increased costs. But, and don't I always have a big one, these games need to cost what they're worth, for Christ's sake. Oh yes, if you follow me, you know the price of games, certain games, mind you, is a big problem I have these days. Take this re-release of LA Noire, for instance. Okay, it's going to cost $10 more on the Switch. Alright, I'll pay that if the version is still of high quality, and I get to play it on the go, especially since, I played a little bit of it before. That game is definitely kind of a slow burner, so it might be nice to have it in portable mode. But that puts the game at $50 on the Switch, because the game's going to cost $40 on the PS4 and Xbox One. Just, Rockstar, one quick question about that. How dare you? And here's the thing. Okay, again, like I said, testing the waters, the ports. Okay, but if you want me to pay $50 for one of your older games, it better be a GTA or a Red Dead Redemption. Okay? I'm not paying $50 for LA Noire. And I want to note here, I get a lot of your guys' logic with the, we want to support Rockstar on the Switch, so they bring some of those games over. I get that. Me, myself, I believe the day this video is going out, tomorrow, there's a certain bounty hunter who's been gone from the gaming industry for quite a while, who's got a game coming out, and I'm definitely trying to support that, so she doesn't go away. But when it comes to third-party developers supporting your platform, you got to remember, just because you support this doesn't mean you're going to get those games. I just want to, point that out there. You might be buying LA Noire, biting the bullet on it to get GTA or Red Dead. You might not get it. That's why I believe, honestly, if you wanted to make a splash, if you wanted to make an impression, you should have put one of those games on there. I mean, come on. GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption were both running on the Xbox 360 and PS3, so I don't think it's crazy to say they could get it running on the Switch. If they wanted to make a splash, they should have just started with those, and I get they were already doing the LA Noire port, but for $50, give me a break. Again, the game originally came out in 2011. I don't care if it's one of these remasters where they basically just cranked up the resolution or something. The game's not worth $40 in 2017, maybe 20, maybe. So in my opinion, if the game was priced properly, it'd be $30 on the Switch, which I'd be fine with. I wouldn't be screaming that it was a great deal or anything, but, you know, it doesn't matter because that doesn't look like it's what it's going to happen anyway. Like, let's take another game from that same year, making its way onto the Switch 6 years after release. Skyrim. Skyrim is going to cost a full $60 out of the gate for the Switch version. Okay, you're adding some goofy Nintendo themed stuff. I'm assuming. I don't know if anybody's told me that it's been confirmed. Maybe you guys in the comments know. I'm assuming it's going to have all the DLC. Okay. Still, $30 I believe would have been the sweet spot. These are old games that ran on old hardware. Again, the Xbox 360 and the PS3. It shouldn't be a grand effort to get them running on the Switch. And these prices seem outlandish to me to pay for games this old. I mean, Jesus, Skyrim just had this past weekend, the weekend I'm recording this in, Skyrim had a free weekend on both the PC and the Xbox One. You could play it all weekend for free. Yet next month I'm supposed to spend $60 on it. And let's not forget to bring Nintendo into this, as still at the end of the day, this is their console. Sure, they're not going to be able to work that closely with every game that releases on their system, but I do think it would be wise to go out of their way with some in the future. If I could have a message to Nintendo on this issue, it would be to look for those partnerships that could really make sense in bringing big business to both parties. I feel like I bring it up in almost every video we talk about third party on the Switch. We know From Software has something in the works for the Switch, but if they could get a Dark Souls collection on the system again, work together to get the cost down for consumers, I think that could bring a huge crowd on board coming from two sides of the fence here. The Nintendo players who aren't as familiar with the series, as well as those who are already big Dark Souls fans who wouldn't mind having a version playable on the go. Sure, not every game is going to have these sorts of possibilities, but Nintendo should be searching those opportunities out. And at the end of the day, yes, this is a business. It is about making money. I say that all the time. But you need happy customers to make money. You need happy customers that want to spend money on your products. I don't think these overpriced ports are going to bring many people in or build up much faith in your current base. And I get something like Skyrim was a huge game when it came out. LA Noire not so much. But these are big developers, Rockstar and Bethesda. And in that way, these are big gets. But from what I've seen, most people are just looking at these releases as overpriced cash grabs. Honestly, I don't... Let me know in the comments again. Are you jumping for joy for LA Noire? Or if you're excited for LA Noire, is it because of the potential of other games like GTA and Red Dead Redemption? There's a difference there. And with those, you can have your Switch tax. I think if it's necessary for now, people will pay it. But the games have to be priced properly. Again, $60 for Skyrim, $50 for LA Noire. It's too much. And sadly, from what I've seen lately, that's just the trend right now for the Switch. And with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch tax in the comments. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.